Hello everyone, I'm Muth, the film guy. Don't believe it? Look it up. And, well, after the success of 1954's Godzilla, Toho, literally a week later, the chairman of Toho at the time decided to greenlit a sequel for Godzilla. And then 6 months later, in 1955, Godzilla got a sequel called Godzilla Raids Again. Though, of course, it came to America in 1959 with the name Gigantus the Fire Monster. And there was, but there was also another release that was supposed to come out before Gigantus the Fire Monster called the Volcano Monsters. I'll get to that when I get to it. But for now, let's talk about Godzilla Raids Again. So the movie begins with our main characters, Skyoka and Kobayashi, flying in their planes around the ocean to find fish. Because Tokyo Bay, if you remember, was completely destroyed by the oxygen destroyer. Pretty much, it destroyed life in Tokyo Bay. And then Kobayashi basically has to land down onto an island where Skyoka has to go save him. And on the island, they find two monsters battling it out: Godzilla and Anguirus. Now, you could be asking yourself, "Hey Jack, how the hell did Godzilla come back? I thought he died in the first movie." True, Godzilla did die in the first movie. but if you remember, in 1954, Dr. Yamane pretty much basically put out the whole saying that what if another test is released, another Godzilla is. And that actually happened. More tests happened and Godzilla was released. Not only was Godzilla released, but so was Anguirus. Pardon me. Now, there are some theories on where Anguirus came from. There's one that says that he came from Russia or something like that, but but from what the movie says, we don't see where Anguirus came from. I always had the theory that Anguirus was living on the island and Godzilla just showed up on there and they just started fighting. Pardon me. So the two pilots go back to Osaka to basically report the whole thing. And when they report it, Dr. Yamane is there for his one and only scene in the whole movie to show footage of the first Godzilla movie. Now, here's the thing about this movie is that it's very cheaply made. You can tell. But there are moments in this where it's quite eerie. The moment where you see Godzilla's footage, this footage of Godzilla, you don't hear sound. There's no narration. It's just Godzilla destroying Tokyo. And yes, it is footage from the first movie, but you have to admit, it still is stark and disturbing in its own way. Now we got that out of the way. So they decide to basically set up a whole entire thing with planes and flares and making sure everybody does not turn on a light, because Godzilla is attracted to lights. And that's where it kind of becomes a bit stupid, because later on in the series, people forget that Godzilla was attracted to lights. I mean, you could say that he's just being an animal, and being an animal, he's attracted to lights. But realistically, in the first movie, he was attracted to food, so I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. They forget the whole thing anyways, because, well, Godzilla attacks Osaka anyways. Godzilla comes onto shore, almost, and then gets turned away by flares. But then there's this whole subplot of prisoners who break out, and then they're the ones that bring Godzilla back because they accidentally drive a truck into a factory and then blows it up, causing Godzilla to come back. So the whole prisoner plot line was just so that way Godzilla can come back and destroy Osaka, if you think about it. I mean, come on. And but then Anger's gets brought in. Now, why is Anger's coming in? They do say that in the film that he was brought in by the flares, but how the hell is that possible? I mean, he must have been like far away from Godzilla, or maybe he was chasing Godzilla or something. But again, why didn't he just like attack Godzilla while he was out at sea? This makes no sense. Well, then again, we wouldn't have a creature feature without Godzilla battling it out with another monster. And then they destroy the whole city. Osaka is completely destroyed. It gets devastated. And then Anguirus, after destroying the Osaka Tower or castle, Godzilla bites down onto Anguirus' neck and kills him. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anguirus dies. And I'm gonna say this. I love Anguirus. He's one of my favorite kaiju or Godzilla characters in any of the Godzilla movies. It's just very upsetting that in his first movie he dies. Like seriously, Godzilla bites down onto Anguirus' neck and Anguirus bleeds out. I'm not joking. You can see blood come out of Anguirus' neck and he dies. There's a well-known fact that Haruo Nakajima was very satisfied by how Anguirus died because the suit actor inside swallowed up a whole bunch of water because because Anguirus fell into the water and water came into the suit. So yeah, it's weird, but and Godzilla burns Anguirus alive and he burns the rest of Osaka and then leaves. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Godzilla just leaves after that. I mean, yeah, Godzilla leaves after destroying Tokyo, but there was more to his destruction in Tokyo. Also, I should also let you know that during the destruction of Osaka, during the fight between Godzilla and Anguirus, there is a moment where the monsters start kind of going fast. As in, they go super fast when they're fighting. Like they're it's very jittery movement, but it's not the right movement for a giant monster to move. And that was an accident. Why did they keep the accident in? Well, I heard that AG Tsuburaya liked it, but I mean, AG Tsuburaya was well known for being a perfectionist. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it became one of the most classic scenes throughout the whole movie. So let's just forgive it and let's go. And so everyone, the main characters and his girlfriend, Skyoka's girlfriend, who was about to get married but then can't because Godzilla attacked, and so they did, and so Kobayashi is sent away to Hokkaido. Yeah, to Hokkaido. It kind of feels like they're running away from this because don't you think that they should, like, the main character should like stay in Osaka and like build back up their city? I mean, come on, be a little strong with this. But of course, Kobayashi wants to have a wife, so there's that subplot. Yeah, Kobayashi wants to have a wife, and then he finds one because this is a very quick movie. So Skyoka and Kobayashi go with their girlfriend. They go to Hokkaido, and then they basically like go to like a restaurant, and then Kobayashi's like, I have my wife. I have chosen my wife, and he won't show them. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh. So So pretty much Godzilla attacks a fishing boat because, they're working at a fishing factory. Godzilla is found, and so they decide to basically go and find Godzilla. And Kobayashi basically kind of is like asking like Tsuyoka's girlfriend what, he should buy his wife or something, or his future wife secretly. And she lists off like a whole bunch of things like socks, a purse, a watch. Personally, nowadays, girls want to have something a little bit more better. They want a body pillow of their favorite anime character, mostly Levi, and maybe Bakugo, and maybe Dek and Midoriya. I should know this. I met girls before. They want that. Not saying that I. No. Forget it, okay? You always turn me down. Anyways, sorry. Back to the review. So they find Godzilla, and Godzilla heads towards this island that's covered in snow and ice. And so they make the plan to basically keep Godzilla there. And Kobayashi kind of keeps Godzilla there by swooping around. That doesn't end well for Kobayashi, because Kobayashi turns out that he, besides just looking for a wife, he found a wife, which turns out to be Kyoka's girlfriend, which apparently this is like supposed to be like a triangle relationship or something, but it doesn't work because with the first movie, there was a reason to have we got to know these characters a lot more. We got Emiko and Ogata and Serizawa. We know those characters, and we know that they love one another. We got to know those characters. Here, Kobayashi loving Skyoka's girlfriend feels like kind of like a big, huge douche move on Skyoka. I mean, seriously, Skyoka's girlfriend even cries for Kobayashi. Like, what the hell's happening here? So yeah, Kobayashi dies because Godzilla just, doesn't like this subplot with the triangle romance subplot. And he blows him up by having him go into a mountain, which causes an avalanche and causes Godzilla to almost get buried. And so that leads to the plan of having Godzilla be trapped onto the island. They bring in barrels so that way fire can be used to like build a wall of fire, which makes no sense because Godzilla releases fire out of his mouth. Oh, this movie has a lot of problems, and there's a huge one here. Wouldn't it make more sense just for Godzilla just to, go through it or something? Because, Godzilla has taken rockets, missiles, bullets on his body, but fire, whoa, no. No, he can't take fire. So, they trap Godzilla there with the fire. And then they start, like, bombarding the mountain, making avalanche after avalanche. And the avalanche works, and Godzilla's trapped in ice forever. Until King Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah. This movie didn't do very well in Japan and even in America. It didn't really do very well. So they kind of warned off Godzilla just for a bit. And Toho decided just to work on other kaiju movies such as Rodan, Mothra, Varan. Yeah, these movies are the one thing that brought back Godzilla. For King Kong versus Godzilla. But of course, we're going to start talking about the Americanized version of these movies of Godzilla Raids Again. Often known as Gigantus the Fire Monster, which first, before it became Gigantus the Fire Monster, it became the Volcano Monsters. And how it's weird. The plot for of the volcano monsters is completely weird because instead of having it God be Godzilla and Anguirus, even though it's Godzilla's suit and Anguirus, they're called the T-Rex and the Ankylosaurus. Just regular dinosaur names. Uh, okay. Oh boy. So apparently in that story, the T-Rex kind of like goes off because they were all like buried in ice and stuff. So like the T-Rex basically like falls off of a like off of a ship which is carrying the two monsters, and the T-Rex gets thawed off and basically comes to Chinatown in San Francisco. Yeah, I'm not joking. They changed the setting from Osaka to Chinatown very quick. I mean, technically this would be the first time Godzilla would attack San Francisco, but yeah, yeah, it doesn't go very well for the Ankylosaurus because Ankylosaurus basically gets like melted out and pretty much you need to see another video. This was you need to see a video called The Volcano Monsters, the original Godzilla movie that was never made. And it's done by this amazing guy named Paper Fins or Finn. Yeah. Check that guy out. He's fantastic when it comes to this sort of thing. Check out his comparison between the Japanese version of these movies to the American version. He does it a lot more better than I would ever do. Which reminds me, I should go on to the official American version, which was released by Warner Bros. Don't you believe it? This isn't the first time Warner Bros. Worked with Godzilla. Actually, they didn't call it Godzilla. They called it Gigantus the Fire Monster. Why? I don't know. The producers didn't have the rights to Godzilla's name. I have high doubts about that because realistically, you can make as long as you had Toho's consent of releasing this movie, you can use Godzilla's name. It's weird. It's weird. Steve Rifle had the rights to Godzilla in America, so I don't know. Not Steve Rifle. No, not Steve Rifle. No, not him. Some other person. but yeah. So pretty much Gigantus the Fire Monster kind of goes the same way as Godzilla Raids Again, except they add in a whole bunch of stock footage and stock music, and the dub is terrible. There's a moment in the movie where they say where Skioka says to his girlfriend, banana oil. What does that mean? It used to be slang for like BS, but in the Japanese version, he says bakara or baka, which means stupid or idiot or dummy. He's calling his girlfriend dummy. Wow, that's nice. So pretty much, Gigantus the Fire Monster is a complete. It's just. Oh, it's not a very good dub. And the fact that they decided to dub over Godzilla. Yes, they dubbed over Godzilla with Anguirus's roars. And I remember when I talked about the volcano monsters, the suits for Godzilla Raids Again were gonna come over to America. Someone, Bob Burns, who is a very famous collector of monster memorabilia, actually saw the two monster suits. And because the volcano monsters and the production that was going to make the volcano monsters went under, the suits, we have no clue where they are. They could still be in that crate in that studio. Who knows? But then again, they could be rotted away. I mean, if you've ever seen any of the Godzilla suits from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, those suits are practically gone. They're practically rotted away. They're just no good. That also brings up the question, what happened to the original Godzilla suit, which I would love to know what happened to the original Godzilla suit. I mean, seriously, that's a very interesting idea. We need to make it, someone needs to make a documentary on what happened to the original Godzilla suit. Seriously. But seriously though, the Anguirus and the Godzilla suits are lost to time. We don't know where they are. We don't know if somebody stole them. We don't know if they're still at the studio. We don't know if they're still inside a crate. They could still be they could be underground. They could be buried underground. you know, you see what I mean here. Oh my god. I just made a tangent about the Godzilla suits. Like, seriously, what happened to the Godzilla suits from Godzilla Raids Again is completely monstrous. They should have stayed, they should have been preserved. They were originally going to be used in and the volcano monsters for like added in scenes or something, but I don't know. The movie didn't come out. Gigantus the Fire Monster came out. They were both bombs. Godzilla Raids Again technically tanked at the box office, and Volcano Monsters, even though people knew that this Gigantus the Fire Monster, they knew that Gigantus the Fire Monster was a Godzilla movie because, I mean, you can't hide Godzilla like that. Come on. You know. Oh my god. Okay. So that's my review for Godzilla Raids Again. And well, I have a very, it's around the same time. It's Christmas time. I actually got Godzilla Raids Again around Christmas time, and that's what kind of brings back memories to me about Godzilla Raids Again. If you want to watch Godzilla Raids Again, I highly recommend you watch it, just because of how silly and strange Godzilla Raids Again is, and Gigantus the Fire Monster. I think you can find Gigantus the Fire Monster on YouTube somewhere. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm Jamie with the Film Guy. Don't believe it, look it up. And well, banana oil. Next week, next time I'm going to be doing King Kong versus Godzilla. Oh yeah. Because it feels right to do now.